Hi there, my name is Melissa and I am coming to you today with a new WIP parade. It has been a while since I have put up a new video. I actually took my channel down for a bit because I was doing some life stuff, and now that that life stuff is kind of settled down, we are back, and I figured what a better way to start off 2025 than with a new WIP parade. To show you some of the new things that I've casted on since I've casted on. I'm still in that knitting brain. Started since I've last recorded. So thank you for joining me. This is probably going to be a little bit all over the place, as is the usual, and I'm a little out of practice again. And my husband's home, so it's weird to record with him home. I'm in a new kind of location today. This is one of my spare bedrooms. And it has some pretty good lighting right now, so I'm hoping that if I move quick enough through this, we have some good lighting for the fabric colors and whatnots. Yeah, so today is Saturday, January 11th, and I have a bunch of life stuff to talk about, but I'm going to save that for another video. I kind of just want this to be like a refresh of showing you what I have in progress. So that way when I do my next video, I can kind of just pick up on some of the progress that I've been making. We're only going to be doing cross stitch. I do have some knitting stuff that I've been working on, but and a few other crafty things, but today I'm going to focus on the cross stitch, and then as I do more regular updates, hopefully, I will bring in some of the other stuff that I've been working on. Since this is a WIP parade and it's been so long since I have recorded a video, I figured I'd take a second to introduce myself. I mentioned my name's Melissa. I live in Springboro, Ohio with my husband and our 2 cats. I have a day job, and actually I'm starting a new job on Monday. Same company, I'm just switching organizations, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Well, as of Friday, I was in the change organization for about 8 years. So I help to manage project managers. More specifically, I'm in change governance, so making sure that we're doing change in the right way. I do work in a very heavily regulated industry, so making sure that we are, stay in compliance with all the laws, rules, regulations, etc., is very important, and that's what my job was up until Friday. Going forward, I'm actually moving into more of a data analytics role. I found a love of data analytics during my time in change, and so I'm actually moving into the technology organization, so I'll be doing a bunch of boring for you, probably, exciting for me if you like data and statistics, which I love. I love data and statistics and planning and all of that. So looking at trends and doing process improvement and things like that. So I'm really excited for what the future holds for me there. But because I do have such like an analytical day job, I try to balance it out with some crafty stuff during my free time. I just have a crafty soul. I am an old soul. I like to cross stitch, knit, crochet a little bit. I spin, sew. I've been doing some English paper piecing, if there's a craft out there, I will find it and I will do it. So, and I've been that way since I was young. So, I did the cross stitch kits, the small cross stitch kits when I was little, like the little plastic ones from Joann's. But then my friend Levi, WTF Knitting on Instagram, and he used to be on YouTube. He's not on YouTube right now, but I'm trying to convince him to come back. Anyway, he got me into cross stitch. I want to say it was like 2021 maybe, because I know it was after the pandemic, because it was the first year we went to Rhinebeck after COVID, the pandemic. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that stuff on YouTube, but here we are. Anyway, so he taught me how to cross stitch properly, and ever since then I've been kind of addicted. I do have a lot of goals this year, which I'll talk about in the end. Right now I would like to try to get through as many of these pieces as I can before I lose lighting and have to switch to artificial lighting, because the artificial lighting in here sucks. So let's jump right into it, shall we? if you want to learn more about me, I did used to have a knitting podcast, and all of those videos are up, so feel free to go back and watch those. Just keep in mind that I'm human. I've learned, I've changed, I've grown as I've aged. So I started those videos quite a while ago. So please don't hold me to them. But anyway, you can kind of get a better idea of my personality and my lifestyle, etc., from those videos. I believe I have somewhere in the realm of 41 WIPs, so quite a few to get through, and I have goals for these WIPs because I have even more projects kitted up and waiting to be started. So anyway, I'm gonna jump right in and start with my first one. So this one is the Arctic Sal from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And as you can see, I am so far on this. A lot of these are Sals that I started last year. I had some rough stuff happen at the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 with family. And so I channeled that into focusing on starting new cross stitch Sals that I did not keep up on. So you'll see a theme there. But anyway, this is one of the ones that I started. I got the first clue done. For this one, I'm kind of waiting to make this a focus project after it's finished. So it's still going right now. I tend to prefer to knit cross stitch. I tend to prefer to work the Frosted Pumpkin projects once they're fully completed, just because there's a lot of like, I like to finish a strand. So if I start a specific color, then and I only use so much of that color over here, I like to count to wherever that color is and use it in that other spot until it's gone. And so it's easier to do that once you have the full pattern. Anyway, this using everything called for. My friend, we were on a cruise when the kit got released. My friend Kimmy, hi Kimmy, she ordered this for me so that I could still participate and have the kit. So this is 14 count Ada Nocturne by Picture This Plus, and I love Picture This Plus. I think it is my favorite brand of fabric. I did try to do my best to be a good little video vlogger and iron my fabric, but I have a lot of projects and it's not perfect because I got tired of ironing. The next one on my list is actually a finish. So I'm gonna probably do a finish parade, finish a video. It'll be very short at some point. I've said that before, but this time I really mean it, because I have finished a few things that I was working on since my last video. So if you saw something in my last video that you don't see today, it probably means I finished it. I think I finished 3 things since we've last been here together. So anyway, this one is the next one. So this is not a finish, this is a WIP. I don't have the finish to show you, but this is the next one on my list, and this is the LG, this is the Stitch for Pride Sal by D's 20 Stitches. And this fabric is on Determination by Mislaid Pages. The fabric colorway name is Determination, and it's by Mislaid Pages. I am so sorry, guys. Anyway, so I did pretty good keeping up on this for the first 5-ish months, and then I completely fell off. So I need to finish this one up. This one is obviously done. It ended at, not obviously, this one is done, and it ended at the end of December. So I am going to probably make this one of my focus pieces this year. Next one's another Sal that I started. This is the Butterfly Sal. So I purchased a planner from, there we go. Trying to make it so it's not see-through. Anyway, I purchased a planner from Creatively Stitching at the beginning of last year. I was enabled by a friend. Thank you, Agatha. And what I didn't know is that designer likes to put out a lot of monthly Sal patterns, and I signed up for like all of them. So the next couple projects, you'll see that. This was one of them. So this is the pattern that was in the actual planner itself, and it's just butterflies with months. I did finish the back stitching in January on the first butterfly, and it was a pain in the ass, and it took me hours, and I messed it up, and I had to rip it out, and it was a mess. So this took like over a week to do of my stitching time. And so for the following months, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do the stitching. And then the plan was to come in 2025 and do the back stitching on them. Obviously, I kind of gave up on these butterflies in March just because they're a lot of stitching, and I think they're beautiful, and this is one I do want the finished piece. I don't know that this will be a focus for me this year. However, I do have plans to finish this at some point and work on it. So we'll see how this year goes and reevaluate probably next year. Next one is the Be a Cupcake Sal by Creatively Crafting. So this is her monthly that she would send out via email. And this fabric is sad, it's not showing up, but it's like pink and green. This is Picture This Plus. I didn't mention what the fabric was for the other one, but don't worry, I think I have that same fabric in a different color coming up. So that one, I'll just grab it and tell you. Actually, I don't think I can tell you. Yes, I can. This is Fiber on a Whim Kunzite. It's not showing well on the camera, but it's very purpley. I am losing my light, so a lot of this is probably not going to show right, but it's okay. I'm sure you'll see it again at some point. So again, this one is the Be a Cupcake Sal. I did pretty good again for the first 3 months, and then spring came and my husband and I did a ton of concerts and theme parks, and we were just out doing all the things, traveling, and so I really, we went on a cruise in April, and that's pretty much when I fell off all of my cross stitch projects, Sal's from last year. So I have the first 3, so January, February, March. These are really cute. This again is really cute. I wouldn't do another one of her Sal's. She has a mermaid one this year, and I almost signed up. I almost decided to do it, but I decided not to because these look so good, but it's because they have so much back stitching and detail in them. They have a lot of half stitches. And it's just not something, I like potato chippy patterns where I can just sit down and zone out. I don't want to have to think a lot when I'm cross stitching. And so they take a lot more brain effort and time that I don't really have to spend on them. So I won't be doing them going forward. This is another one. She had a monthly minis release that she would do where she would release the pattern and it'd be $1 a month, and I did the thing. So this is on, that was Picture This Plus, by the way. This is again, this is the 36 count Edinburgh linen, Celestine and it's Fiber on a Whim. And she had these little minis, and they're really cute. So I think the first one says Floss Daily. They're kind of like puns. So the other one is like love to stab things, and the third one in March was shh, I'm counting. And I ran out. I didn't have the right floss I needed to finish the third one. Oh my god, the lighting's gonna get so bad. I'm gonna have to turn on the light. I didn't have the floss I needed for the last one, and so and not only that, but I didn't count correctly to space them out. And so they're on top of each other, and I think this looks cute, but I'm not going to do the rest. I did buy a few more, but again, too much time spent into this for something that I don't really want the finished object. So I'm just going to cut out what I have here and probably just put it in like a little mini pillow or frame or something and call it a day. If you know me, I am not one to not finish a project. So if I am quitting something, you know it's bad. Next one is my 2024 Temperature Sal. I did finish one for 2023. This is mine for 2024. This is called Square Dance. Square Dance. I got it on Etsy. I'm not sure who the designer is, but you can probably just look up Square Dance and be able to see it. This is, and I will be putting up photos of patterns as I talk. So this is a Picture This Plus Petals, which is also what my cupcake Sal is on, is Petals. It's this very pinky greeny color that I really like. Okay, let's keep trucking, shall we? So then my next one is my Eclipse project. So Levi and I started a project because we were in the path of the total eclipse for 2024. So this is by T High Designs. I can never pronounce her name. I have a few, or their name, I'm sorry. But I do have a few of their patterns, and as you can see, I got very far on it and haven't touched it since. So you'll be able to see in the picture what this is. Now this fabric is 20 count B-Stitch Me, and it's called We Can't Elope. Cantaloupe. So it is orange fabric, but it is full coverage, but I figure if you have to stitch something, a full coverage project, and you don't need it gridded, you might as well have some pretty fabric in the background to keep your eyes busy, and then also it'll make a nice border. So there is that. Like I said, I kind of got tired of ironing, so some of these fabrics are not very smooth. They're very wrinkled from being in the bag. My next project I absolutely love, but this project, it takes me like an hour to do 100 stitches, and it's massive, so probably never finish it, but that's okay. I would love to put this in my rotation this year, but it probably won't happen. This will most likely be something that I try to be intentional about next year. But this is called Tudor Allegory, and it's charted by Hade. So Heaven and Earth Designs. And I look like Wilson. Heidi ho, neighbor, what you doing? Anyway, sorry, I'm silly. And then the artwork is by Luca de Kier. And I haven't been telling you how far I'm in on these projects, but I do have that information, so I'll start here on out. So this is just on gridded fabric. I am doing this on, I want to say 32 count, 1/1. So I've done a few full coverage projects. I have a few on the go, you'll see. And I've done a few, and I'm trying to figure out a way to do them so they're not so big, and so the only thing that I could think of is go down in stitch count size. And so I experimented 1/1, 32 count, and it's either 32 or 36, I can't remember. I think it's 32, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I actually enjoy it. Like I said, I love working on this. It just is so slow going. So I know I showed the pictures, but you can start to see the light fixtures coming in. And I don't think they're light fixtures because I'm not sure if they had electric then. I feel really dumb. My husband would know this. But anyway, so on this one, I have 2,000 stitches in. I'm 0.49%. There's a total of 406,500 stitches in the overall project. I'll probably take most of this piece of fabric here, but anyway, I am parking my threads. I don't mind parking. I actually enjoy it because I like being able to just pick up and go. I have a couple different preferred methods of stitching on full coverage, and I've just kind of been experimenting a little bit. So I'll talk about the other method when we get to those projects, but that's this for now. The next 3 projects is part of a series. So I have Autumn Quaker first. So this is Autumn Quaker by Rosewood Manor. And this project, I think I have 2 pages done, or close to 2 pages, almost. I have a little bit missing from page 2 over there, but I can't remember when I started this. Levi and I started it. I'm using all the call for. So this is Picture This Plus, linen, 28 count, and I think it's doubloon, I think is the colorway name. Gorgeous fabric. I am not a browns person or reds. Like, I never was really like, I didn't like the 70s colors. Never really got into that. I like fall, but I more liked the brighter fall colors, I guess. But then I think I turned 30 and all of a sudden now I love these colors, these type of colors. The 70s vibe is like 100% what we're into right now. Both my husband and I, we always thought like, why would anybody want like poop green cabinets? And now we're like, I kind of like the poop green cabinets. What is wrong with me? So anyway, there's that. So again, I know I said I'll talk about plans later, but I keep wanting to talk about it, so I'm just going to talk about it. One of my plans is, I think next month, I'm going to spend some time focusing on these projects. I'm not a seasonal stitcher, and that's the problem because I'm trying to stitch these seasonally. but I'm a mood stitcher. And so by the time it gets to the season to work on these, I never do. So now I'm in the mood to work on them. So I think in February I'm going to work on them. So this is Winter Quaker. I have 1 page done. So my goal, I think, for 2025 would be to get 2 pages done on each of these. So this one has 1 page, so I need to do 1 more, finish up the page on Autumn Quaker. And then, again, using all the called fors. The next one is summer. I did start this one this year. I don't have spring started, so I'd like to start spring, preferably in the spring, and do 2 pages on that as well. But I started this summer, and this is truffle. And if you know anything about truffle, the color of the fabric, it doesn't photograph properly. It looks brownish gray, but it's really pink. It's very pretty, but regardless, I love it. So this one I would like to also get 2 pages on. So yeah, I hope to kind of focus on those a little bit in the month of February, so that by the time I start spring, I hopefully have better progress on those. Now we're going to get into some older WIPs. I have a ton of Frosted Pumpkin stitchery. When I first started cross stitching, I basically went out and bought all of their patterns and started them all. And didn't get very far. I did May Mania. Let me be careful with this. It's got dye in it. I did May Mania a couple years ago with Levi, and I mostly started Frosted Pumpkin patterns and then haven't touched them in since. So a lot of these are abysmal starts. There are a lot of them, so just bear with me. I have plans to try to get some of them out of the WIP pile this year. So yeah. So this one is Storytime Sampler, Frosted Pumpkin, using all the called for. This is all of the called for. I'm pretty positive that Frosted Pumpkin typically just uses Picture This Plus for everything. So you can look at the pattern and it'll tell you what color fabric they're using and all that fun stuff. So this one I have 261 stitches in, which is 1.77%. So super far. The next one is Forget Me Not. I plan to do, this is charted by Haid, and the artwork is by Rachel Anderson. She has a series of 4 fairies, and I do have fabric and the patterns for all of them, so the plan is to do all 4 of them. However, you see how that's going. I started this with my friend Agatha, and I am 1.75% on this project. I have 811 stitches done, and it's so funny. I think we talk about this a lot, but there's always a memory associated with your stitching and what you were watching or doing while you were stitching it. And on that one, I was watching Virgin River, and I'm pretty sure I'm like 2 seasons behind. So I feel like that's a good one to pull out and watch Get caught up with Virgin River on. Next one is Frosted Pumpkin, and this one is called Happily Ever After, using all the called for. It wasn't until recently, and even now, I still am not great at it, but it wasn't until recently that I started to branch out. So a lot of these older WIPs are the called fors, which I think with the Frosted Pumpkin, that's a good thing, right? Because they're very cartoony, it's very specific. Frosted Pumpkin is very specific in their design style, and so you would probably always want to use at least the called for floss, unless you're substituting one of the fancy flosses, which is a-okay. The next one is called Judge Not by Plum Street Sampler. This was a hand-me-down pattern from, not a hand-me-down, a Pass the Stash from Levi. So he actually finished this one a while ago and turned it into a pillow, and I love it. And I actually have a friend who wants this pattern when I'm done, so I need to get on that so I can send it to her. And this is a really small pattern, so I should just knock it out. I have 504 stitches done on this one. I don't have the percentage because it's not Pattern Keeper compatible. It's a paper pattern, so I just took a picture and uploaded it into Pattern Keeper. By the way, if you have a better way of getting paper patterns into Pattern Keeper, let me know, because right now I just use my phone to take pictures and then I manually do all like the descaling on the grids and everything. So if there's a better way to do it where it will auto descale, let me know, because your girl has a lot of paper patterns and she needs to figure that out. So anyway, I'm using 36 count Edinburgh linen, and it's just white. It just says white. Anyway, so there's that. And that's going to be a focus this year to get done Then I have Once Upon a Time by Frosted Pumpkin. Do a close-up. Here we go. I'm not happy with how the Once Upon a Time is showing in that floss color. And I didn't notice it until today when I pulled this out to work on it. So I'm gonna keep working on it, and then I might eventually either backstitch around the letters or change out the floss color because I think it blends too much with the fabric. And I'm wondering if maybe they didn't have the called for fabric in stock and maybe I substituted for this and that's why it's not popping, because I don't remember it looking like that in the photo, but we shall see. Anyway, on that one I am 609 stitches out of 20,866, 2.92%. The next one is How Does Your Garden Grow? This one, a lot of these have not changed from my last WIP parade, but side note, part of reason for me doing another WIP parade with very little progress on these projects is because my last WIP parade, I messed up the video somehow and everything was backwards, and I got a lot of comments from people that did not like that. And so I figured this will be like a part 2 or a redo. It's a mulligan. It's a mulligan WIP parade, so you can actually see everything properly. This is Where Does Your Garden Grow? It's another small project. This is from, no, How Does Your Garden Grow? This is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I was really into gardening the year that I started this, and since then, so between the time I started this and where it's at now, I purchased some raised garden beds and installed them, and I did some vegetable growing for a couple of years, and then I got tired of doing the vegetable growing and I tore out the raised garden beds and overseeded it. So I just tore them out and reseeded over top of that space this past year. So no longer a gardener. That was like a short phase of my life. However, I still like to garden. I just don't have the time. Like, I would rather work on this kind of stuff than take care of the vegetables. Really, it's the watering that I didn't like, and we've had some a lot of droughts the last couple of years in Ohio, and I just didn't want to waste the time or energy watering them when I can go and buy tomatoes cheaper at the store, at the market. So anyway, next one is another how does your this one is Christmas on Gingerbread Lane, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this one I have 238 stitches in, so not very much there. Again, using called for. The 12 Days of Christmas by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, 509 stitches in. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I think that's the top border because I don't know why I started this one where I did, because typically I'm a left corner starter, but this one's weird, so I don't know. It might be supposed to be this way. I don't know. Anyway, I got some of the border done, so there's that. I'm pretty sure those two projects are on the same fabric. This one is the Midnight Way. This was actually the very first project I started after I learned how to cross stitch. We went to Rhinebeck, and Levi taught me how I started. The very first one that I started on my own, he taught me how to cross stitch. We made like a little scissor fob, and then I came home and I got the stuff to make this, and I started this on Halloween Day. So this one I don't have any information on because I was actually working on this one in Knit Companion because there's a way to hack Knit Companion to work cross stitch before I had a Android tablet to use Pattern Keeper. So that is what we have there. I love that fabric. I had an extra piece of this that I sent to a friend, and I'm pretty sure I used this on something else. It's a Picture This Plus linen. I don't know the colorway name. Next one is Welcome to Pumpkinville by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this one is also linen. I guess I could tell you whether I'm using linen or Aida because I use them interchangeably. I don't prefer one over the other. Just kind of depends on the project, I guess. I enjoy working with them both. This one I have 813 stitches in out of 28,151. So there's that. I'm still a Frosted Pumpkin fan. Still like all their new stuff. but I'm a little burnt out with how many WIPs I have. So this one's Cozy Cafe. This one I did substitute the fabric. I don't remember, hopefully the tag's still on here because I don't remember what I substituted for. I remember watching, I can't remember. I will go through some of the floss tubes that I watch in another video, but I was watching another floss tuber who did this, and she made it like a chalkboard type for her kitchen, and I really liked that idea, and so I stole it, and I ordered the fabric and the floss. I substituted out the white floss for chalkboard by, I think it's weeks, but I can revalidate all that information for you at a later date when I actually use this as a focus piece, but that's how far I got. I am not beading yet. I have the beads. I'm going to bead. I'm waiting till the end to put the beads in, as per the pros tell me to do. The next one, this is sad that this is not done because it's such a small project and I'm ridiculous for not having worked on it. Black Hat Society by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I have 506 stitches out of 3,946. And the funny thing about this one is that even with 506 stitches in, it is at 12.82%. So it needs to be done. Also, this was like one of the very first starts that I had, and I was worried I was going to run out of fabric for this pattern. So I did like a cinder start. And I really regret that decision because this is a beautiful piece of fabric that I will now be cutting for probably ornaments or something or smalls, because I wasted a big chunk of it, but it's fine. We can always get more. Picture this plus isn't going anywhere. This is Ada, by the way. This one is Sweet as Pie by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's on linen. And there we go. This one is 1,104 stitches out of 9,978, 11.06%. There's that one. This one is A Very Merry Christmas Town by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. 1,549 stitches done. This one was, I started WIP Go last year. Didn't stick with it, but again, I think I got to about March and then quit. But anyway, so this one was a WIP Go pool last year, early on in the year, and so I did get a little bit of work done on this last year, but it's 18.32% done. Next one, this one's a fun one. This was also a WIP Go pool last year. This is Triangles. Well, I call it Triangles. It's like Cirque de Coeur, I think is how you say it. I don't speak French, so I may be butchering that. But this one is by Ink Circles. I love Ink Circles. And I'm using Silks for You. And I actually have all four of the companion patterns and plan to do them eventually. I love working on this pattern. I adore it. It's so fun. This one, I was watching Severance when I was working on it, so maybe with the release of Severance at the end of this month, maybe I need to pull this out and work on it while we watch Severance again, because I stitched this as I binge watched the first season of Severance. So this one is, I have 4,757 stitches done, 25.4%. So this one is called Pink Geo Panel. And this one is from Counting the Stars on Etsy. This one I was just kind of experimenting with cross country a little bit. And I have 510 stitches done, 1.70%. It is full coverage. And the back's a mess. I will not be doing that when I pick this back up. But for the sake of experimenting and because I was lazy that day, I just traveled wherever I wanted to. So there's that. My next one is a fun one. This is Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, charted by Haid, artwork by Amy Stewart. This is actually the second time that I started this project. The first time was on a different count fabric. I do believe I went down to 36 count on this one. 32 or 36, I can't remember. I think it's whatever I did for Tudor Allegory, I think I used for this as well. But I started on 25 count. I was doing 2/1. It was taking forever. And I wanted to experiment with tent stitch. And so I guess I should have mentioned Tudor Allegory, I believe is tent stitch. Is it tent stitch or did I do? Maybe I think I did full stitch on that one. But I wanted to experiment with tent stitch, but I wanted it to be, I like a dense, you'll see in my other full coverage project, like I like full coverage to be like tapestry thick. I like it to be dense. I don't want it to be washed out. And so that's what I did. Also, I did not do the supersize version originally. I wanted to, but I was worried about the size of the finished piece if I ever finish it. And so what I did was I wanted the supersize version. So I restarted it on a smaller count, doing tent stitch, got the supersize max color version that I wanted originally. And that's where we're at. So we have in 4,113 stitches, 0.57%. This one has 722,277 stitches in the overall project, which isn't even my biggest project, guys. So don't even worry your pretty little heads. I got a bigger one than this, but I really, really like this. But it's just last year was not a full coverage year for me. I did not have the brain capacity or time to work on full coverage, and so we didn't. But yeah, can you believe that that is over 4,000 stitches? Because I can't, because it does not look like it. But it's half stitches, so it's closer to 2,000, I guess. Doesn't count. Oh, and on this one, I originally started parking, and then it started to annoy me on this one for whatever reason. And so I started working them in, which is why I've got that weird kind of hanging area. However, I think that the reason why I didn't like this one is because I wasn't working it the same way I was Tudor Allegory, where I would just like pick the very next stitch and start that color. And then I on this one, I would work further out. On Tudor Allegory, what I do is I cross stitch the stitches that are in the area I'm working on that are touching. So like if it's not right there, I don't cross stitch it. Even if it's one stitch away, so I'll do an X and then park it. On this one, I would do all the ones on that page or in that area within like an inch or two of where I was working and then park it. I prefer, even though it sounds more tedious to do it the other way on Tudor Allegory, because you could literally be doing one stitch in this color, one stitch in this color, and then going back to the next color. I actually I think it's faster. I think it's more rhythmic, and there's less counting because you know that you're going to the next color. And then once you get your thread started, you're literally just picking up the next color and going. It is a lot of threading and rethreading your needle, but it doesn't really bother me. It didn't. Watch, I'll pick it back up and then that'll change. My next one is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. This is the only one that I have on a frame just because I didn't want to take it out of the scroll frame. And I am showing to you, where? I think I'm showing it to you wrong. Yeah, it was upside down. But anyway, this one I have 11,910 stitches in. I'm 15.41% through. A little bit of it is cut off down here. I'll just turn it around and show you. The back looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'm proud of this back, but it's only because it's one color. If this was multiple colors, it would look like my geo pattern. But anyway, so I am also working on the new normal, so I'll show you that to you towards the end because that's a newer start. You guys haven't seen that before. The next one is Mysterious Halloween Town by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This one I think was also a Go Pool, so I think it has a little bit of work that I put into it this year. So there's that. And this one has 2,403 stitches in it. It is 34.84%. So this one is probably one of my Frosted Pumpkins that's the furthest along. So probably should pull that out. The next one is The Fruits of Plenty. This one is by Modern Folk Embroidery. I love a good Modern Folk Embroidery pattern, although I start them and then they get shuffled off to the side. So this one was WIP Go Pull this year too. And I have 1,520 stitches, 3.21%. We are getting there, kind of, sort of, not really. This one is Christmas Celebration Sampler by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This one has 1,015 stitches in it. Oh, there's a pretty cardinal. He's so pretty. Anyway, This one has 12.65% done. Just working my way around the border. The next one, this one is probably my favorite WIP that I have. And it's actually my focus piece for the year. It's my priority project. And this is the Epic Pokemon Cross Stitch All Generations from Lord Libiden. Lord Libiden. I never say his name right, their name right. But anyway, Lord Libiden, it's a free pattern on their website. It's the Epic All Generations Pokemon. I'm doing this 25 stitch, 2/1, so it is very dense and tapestry-like. I've made a bit of progress on this since you guys have seen it. Not much, but a little bit. This one has 135,569 stitches in it. It's 16.99%. The total stitch count in this one is going to be 798,000, I believe. Yeah. So this is my biggest cross stitching project that I've started. But anyway, I'll just do a little close up because this one is so amazing. There was a comment that I have yet to respond to that I will respond to, but I might as well say it here. They asked where I got such a big piece of fabric, because this fabric, I mean, it's folded over. It's massive. It's big. It's chunky. I got it from 123 Stitch, I think. There are websites that you can get it from. Like you could technically order a bolt of this fabric, if you wanted to. So I got it from, I believe I got it from 123 Stitch. If not, I do know that Hade will do custom cuts. So you can message them. But there are a few, I think you could probably get this on Amazon because it's just the Easy Count gridded fabric. I think they sell it at Joann's too, maybe on a bolt, maybe not. They probably don't. Also, this right here is from my Lowry stand. It's unfortunate, but because it's in an area that's not going to get stitched over. However, the plan was when I eventually do get this done and frame it, if I can even afford the framing, it might be $1 million, but I might frame it myself. We'll see. But anyway, the plan was to do like poster type framing where the frame is like a thinner frame that is right up against, like the edge is right up against the fabric. So hopefully it gets covered. If not, I can always do some matting too. So that's always a possibility. But anyway, so really the piece that I've been working on is over here. So let me tell you how I'm stitching this. I'm stitching this page. So this full coverage, I like to pick a color and work that entire color in the section that I'm working on. So whatever's, right now I'm using a Q-snap. I was using a scroll frame and the tension wasn't high enough, so I switched back to a Q-snap. So whenever I run out, so say my Q-snap's in like this area, so, and I just pick the next color up, whatever the stitch is right here, I'll pick that color. I will try to work all of the color that is within my frame area. And I really like doing it that way. But, I don't mind it. The back is a hot mess, but you know, it's not too bad. So that's how we roll. I do carry quite far on this project. I am very careful with my tension when I'm carrying so that I don't do it too tight and it doesn't pull stitches. I have had it too tight in the past where I have I've pulled stitches where I've had to restitch over that area because it was too tight. So there's that. Right now I am trying to put at least 100 to 300 stitches in a day. I think that's probably, I'm only planning 1 month at a time this year, but for January, that's my goal on this. And I'm hoping that I can continue that throughout this year, obviously in summertime when we're really busy. Like that's how stiff it is. It won't even it won't fold. It's so stiff, but I love it. It's so much stitching and it's so adorable. I love it. Anyway, so hoping I can keep that going through the year. Next one is Frogworts by Black Needle Society. This one's actually going to be a restart. So I originally wanted, they have 7 pieces they're going to have in total on this. And I have all the patterns up. I'm current on all the patterns. I just pre-ordered the box for the next one. I wanted to do this on a bigger piece of fabric, all on one piece of fabric. And I couldn't afford that piece of fabric because this is fibronolin and it's quite expensive. And so I bought a couple different slices of this one. But then I had a gift card for my birthday to 123 Stitch, and I thought, screw it. Let's just buy that fabric. So I spent like $100 on one piece of fabric. Ooh, I'll never do that again. I never say never, but anyway, I really wanted all of these on one piece, so that's the plan. So all of this stitching is gonna get probably cut off. I'm not frogging this, and I'll use this fabric for something else, and then I will restart that at some point in time in the very, very distant future. The next one is the 12 Days of Stitchy Ornaments. So this is my last WIP that was in my last WIP parade. And I have 2 ornaments done. And the funny thing is, I had all of these gridded out with like the centers marked for each of these ornaments that I'm going to be doing. And then I ironed my fabric and it erased all my heat erasable pen markings. So I'll have to redo that. But this hasn't changed. I didn't work on this. There's still 2 ornaments done from May Mania a couple years ago. We did May Mania and I would spend 2 days on the same project and I got 1 ornament done on each day and haven't touched it since. So there's that. That one is by, I don't know if I have that, Erica Made Designs. So now everything else that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. They're all brand new. You haven't seen them. So the first one is stamped cross stitch kit. And I like this one. You can very clearly see it's like a flying fox. But I didn't get very far. So I actually had more than this done. I actually had this entire pink section right here done, and then I realized I used the wrong color. I was like, this color doesn't really make sense here. And then I realized I was like, I knew from watching other people's videos that these symbols, you had to be very careful in making sure you picked the right color. Well, what I didn't know is I thought this key and this key was the same, and so I looked for the symbol that looked the closest to that on this side, not realizing that these were different floss colors down here as well, and it was the wrong color, so I had to rip it all out. Lessons in Stamped Cross Stitch. This is by Oraloa, I think is how you say it. I looked really hard to find licensed stamped kit artwork because I wanted to do stamped cross stitch, but I did not want to buy unlicensed artwork. And so I bought 2 kits from them because they are licensed. So there is that one. The next one is Deadly Aquarium Sal. It's not a Sal anymore. And it wasn't really a Sal when I started it because I think it was almost over, but so this is Deadly Aquarium. I have 521 stitches done, just a little bit on the border. I love this fabric. It's one of my favorites. I think it's Haunted. Is that right? Yeah, I'm pretty positive this is Haunted, but oh my God, I love it so much. I don't cut my fabric because I'm too much of a baby to cut my fabric, so I just deal with the bulk while I'm stitching. The next one was also a Sal that I started. So one of the things that you didn't see was the Femurs and Fungi Sal. That's actually a finish now. That was in my last WIP parade. But I since finished that and started the Plants and Petrichor. So this one's over too now, but I did get the framing in before I quit on this one. And this fabric, I believe, is also Haunted. Yeah. Oh, wait, does it have a tag? Nope, no tag. I think this one is the same as the last one. I think I'm using the exact same fabric. It is. So there is that. I love, you'll see my next piece too. Like I got really into these deep green teals, and navies. Like I am all over them now. I like the dark fabrics. I like the mottled fabrics too. The next one I started at StitchCon. I think you guys have seen this on a Flosstube, just not in my WIP parade, I think. And I don't know which way this goes because I can't tell. This is Mystic. Mystic. Whoa, it's a good one. Anyway, so this is Nightingale. I think this is right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Anyway, Nightingale by Mirabilia. It's my first Mirabilia. Me and Levi started this at StitchCon. And then my friend Spencer, she also started her first Mira at StitchCon. And ever since, I bought like pretty much all of the Mirabilia kits. Not all of them, but quite a few. But I refuse to start another one until I get some more work on this one. So there's that one. And then the next one is No Time Like the Present by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is on Bestitch Me Huckleberry, which is just absolutely gorgeous piece of fabric. Can't you see the clock? Anyway, I really picked this fabric because I'm using, I'll show you up close view of my colors I'm using. I thought it went well because I know that there's a lot of blank spaces in here that kind of acts as like a third floss color. So that's why I picked this fabric, and it is showing pretty true to color. The sun's coming out, yay. But anyway, we need sun. This is No Time Like the Present, Modern Folk Embroidery. I have 356 stitches done. This was another StitchCon start. So this was StitchCon Day 2, 2024. And then StitchCon Day 3, 2024 was a new start / now it's a finish. So I don't have that to show you. It was a start and finish since you guys have last seen me. So I'll show that in my finishes at some point. And then my last WIP, this is the last WIP that I have, and it's the most recent that I started, and it's one of the furthest along, is The New Normal by Long Dog Samplers. And I swear I ironed this, but because it was on the bottom of the pile, it got real wrinkly. Anyway, so Levi and I met up with our friend from StitchCon, Kim, which is actually Spencer's mom. So they're StitchCon buddies. Kim came with us. It was her idea. We all went to the Stitching in the Springs retreat in Yellow Springs, Ohio, I think in November, beginning of November. So this is Live and Die LA Fabrics, and it's Cardiff. I don't want to say that because I know it. I asked her what it was, and she said it's a name in, I think, Ireland or Scotland. And every time I see it, I just think of C. diff, which I know is definitely not what this is called. So I shouldn't have said that, but it's out there. Anyway, this is 40 count linen. And I'm also using, I did not bring the floss up, so I can't remember the name of the floss, but it's Live and Die LA floss as well. And this one I have 10,433 stitches in. I'm 27.58% done with. So this is one of my focus projects this year. So what I've been doing, Levi mentioned that he does this thing where he uses 2 strands of floss. No, he does one strand of floss a day on the project. And so he starts to see some progress. So I figured if I do 2 strands of floss a day every other month, that this will be done by the end of the year. So that's what I've been doing. 2 strands a day. I worked on it in November, and now I'm working on it in January. And then after January, it'll probably get put away until March. But I do think that the motifs get lost a little bit in the variegation. But I think that if I had like a dark frame, it would kind of draw away your eye away from the variation. I don't know. I thought it would make the lighter parts of the fabric kind of pop a little bit so that you can see the motifs a little better. But anyway, so there's that one. And that is the last one. So stitchy plans. So I decided I'm just going to take it 1 month at a time this year. I don't want to overplan. I don't want to underplan. Because when I underplan, I end up doing 500 new starts and salves like I did last year. And when I overplan, I tend to get stressed out and then beat myself up for not making those goals. So the plan this year is to be very intentional with what I start, but more so than that, be intentional with what I finish and work on. And so I have a couple focus projects. So for example, this one every other month is a focus project, and Pokemon is a major focus project because it's going to take me years to finish and I need to see some progress on that. But then I will also have some side projects like next month. I'm going to focus on, instead of working on this, I'm going to be working on my Quakers, to get those. That's the plan as of right now, hopefully. Again, try not to plan that far ahead, but that's what I think I want to do. Outside of that, I would like to pull some of my smaller projects and work on them to try to get as many finished as I can. Most of those will probably be the frosted pumpkin patterns. I know the smallest one I have is the Black Hat Society one that has a little over almost 4,000 stitches, less than 4,000 stitches. So that one I would like to see a finish. Judge Not, I think, would be a good finish because it's a smaller one. So I'd like to just kind of go through as I have the time and am able each month to pick one or two to really focus in on and finish, because I'm struggling with allowing myself to start new things right now. There's a lot of things I would love to start, and I'm not letting myself do that because I'm so stressed out with not stressed, but I don't like the amount of WIPs that I have. And so that is the plan. And I mean, I did a WIP parade mid-year, so about 6 months ago, and most of these projects haven't even seen me since then. So that is the goals for this year. I am hoping to come back and record another video here shortly. We'll see how long this takes me to get to edit. I do have a lot to show, because I've also had a couple of knitting focused projects recently. And so I would hope that I would be back within the next 2 weeks. But I am starting a new job, so no promises. We'll see how that job goes. With that new job, I currently work from home full time. I do believe I'm going to have to go into the office 2 to 3 days a week. And so that's going to take some time away from the things that I do working from home. So it's very easy to pop a roast in when you're working from home, or do a workout if you have a lunch break. And mind you, like, notice I said if you have a lunch break. So when I had a good lunch break, I would do my workout for the day. So all of those things, if I'm in the office, I won't be able to do until I get home, meaning it's going to take away from my stitchy time in the evenings. So we'll see how the new job goes. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to be back with you guys. And I hope that you guys like this one better than the last and it's not backwards. And I will see you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye.